Las Vegas earlier today. For more on the ongoing crisis at our southern border, let's bring Oklahoma Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin, who serves on the Senate Armed Services Committee, into the conversation. Senator, you saw the president made that executive order this week to reportedly tighten up the border. How effective has that been?
We've seen no results from it. Keep in mind, John, this is the same president for the last 3.5 years has been saying there is no crisis. And then just recently he started saying there was a crisis, but there was nothing he could do. And then 3 years and 7 months into his presidency, he's down 28 points to President Trump on the border. And all of a sudden he decides to take an executive order that, by the way, was the same executive order that he overturned in his first 100 days in office when he took 94 executive actions to open our southern border. Just to let the listeners know why every state is a border state, there's been over 8 million immigrants been released in the country, meaning they've been paroled into the country. 1.8 million, what they say, known gotaways. That means that the Border Patrol actually saw them and couldn't get to them. To put that in perspective, that's more than the population of Oklahoma, South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, and Alaska combined. Where do you think all these immigrants have went? That's why we're seeing a spike in all of our major cities with organized crimes right now. And that's why we're all a border state.
Yeah. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 637 non-American citizens are working in this country, while 300,000 Americans, American-born workers, lost their jobs. So more than twice as many foreign-born workers are employed here, while Americans are losing their jobs.
And keep in mind, those foreign-born workers are ones that are actually legally working here, because when they get released, they actually can apply to be able to work inside the United States while they're waiting on their parole hearing, which is 9 years away usually. That doesn't include all the underground working that's happened. You can go to any construction site inside the United States right now, and you're going to find illegal workers. You cannot pull up to a house being built inside the United States if it's in the framing or roofing or masonry stage, that you're not going to find illegal workers working for cash at those job sites. And listen, we got to have construction done, but we shouldn't be allowing the illegal activity happen, because when you start allowing a little illegal activity, you're inviting a bigger illegal activity. Is what I said. I've said this multiple times. A thief doesn't just all of a sudden go rob a bank. A thief usually starts off slow because of an opportunity because the door is unlocked to a car or to a house, and he starts small and he ends up big. When you allow these individuals to start breaking the law small, they're going to end up doing the big things, which is what's taking place in Washington, D.C., and New York, and Chicago, and L.A., and everything, and every other major city around the country.
Well, as you well know, the president blames Republicans, particularly in the Senate, for torpedoing the bill that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer put on the floor. Your response?
Yeah, of course he would, because it's politics to him. Keep in mind, before he got in office, we had one of the safest borders we've ever had underneath President Trump. It was because of his executive orders that he put in place. As I stated a while ago, John, he did, in the first 100 days, he overturned 94 executive orders that Trump had put in place to secure that border. He could simply put all 94, not just one, and now he has 93, not just one, but he could put all of those back in place, and he could secure the border. But it will take time, right? The message has to get out there. But even when he did this one executive orders, it's like what the head of the House is doing, the rest of the House isn't following. So the president of the United States put this executive order in, and then the Border Patrol goes out and says, wait a second, no, we're not doing that. We're doing what we want to do anyways. So they have to be running side to side. Otherwise, it's just lip service. And all we continue to get out of this administration is lip service, it's becoming a national security. We haven't even talked about, John, the fact that we have 367 known apprehend terrorists that was crossing the border. What about all the ones that didn't get caught? We just caught 367 of them. Now, what about the ones that are now inside the United States? So now every law enforcement around the country, because of Joe Biden's failure on the border, has to be worried about terrorist cells that's growing right in our backyard.
We can also talk about foreign policy. Donald Trump was talking about it today during his appearance in Las Vegas. Here's a couple of the things he had to say.
We had the greatest economy in history. What we did in taxes, nobody's ever done. Even Ronald Reagan gave a big tax cut. We gave the biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulatory cut. If Joe Biden truly wanted to sign an executive order to stop the invasion, right now, all he needs to do is say, I hereby immediately reinstate every single border policy of a gentleman named Donald J. Trump. I got along well with Putin. I mean, it must have been hard for him. He actually said, if you're nice to me, I would hate like hell to see if you weren't nice to me. And remember, he would have never, and he didn't, he would have never gone into Ukraine. Israel would have never, ever been attacked.
A couple of the foreign policy points there from the former president. That last point in particular, do you think that Israel and Ukraine would not have been attacked had Trump remained in office?
I do believe that 100%. Keep in mind, peace through strength means that people are afraid that you will do what you say you're going to do. And President Trump always did that. I'll point to a couple of things that happened when Trump was first in office. When Trump first got in office, Russia controlled the Syria airspace. And before we could even put our men into observation points in Syria, we would have to ask Russia permission or tell them where we're flying to. They use chemicals or allowed Syria to use chemicals against their own people. What Trump did in 30 minutes after it happened, he says, hey, we know where you took off from. We're coming and we're going to bomb. And by the way, we're taking over your airspace. And he literally wiped out that airbase, wiped out all the equipment was there. And we controlled the airspace over Syria the rest of the time Trump was in office. Second thing that took place in Afghanistan, we had a captain of 19th Group get killed underneath Trump's watch when he first came in office. And what did Trump do? Trump dropped the mother of all bombs called the Moab, made right in McAlester, Oklahoma. It was the largest bomb drop since World War II. He got everybody's attention, and everybody goes, whoa, hold on a second. Yeah. And you saw stability across the world because we had a strong leader in the White House. And so President Trump is absolutely correct. There is no way Hamas or the Houthis would be attacking or threatening the United States or Iraq if President Trump was there, because they know that he would back up the words that he said.
Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican of Oklahoma. Good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.